Welcome. We're on the next day of sanding. The blocker coat has been put on. We're going to talk about that. Let me get this. This. Man, I wish they'd make it easy, but they don't. Okay, Creator Studio. Let's go. Creator Studio. I'm sorry that it takes a few minutes to get rolling. They just don't have it laid out very well. Let's see here. Create. Go live. Want to go in here and pick up the stupid control board. That's the manage. Okay. I should be able to get it from there. No, you can't. Dumb. Okay. All right, we got 3 viewers. And let's get to business. All right, I've been block sanding and working on this practically all night since the last go around. And what I'm doing today is this airplane's going to be Miss Ashley red. But if you paint Miss Ashley red on over primer or balsa wood or some dark color, it'll be a dark red. And I didn't want a dark red, so I wanted to block everything out. So I put a light coat. You can see right here, I mean, you can see through it. I put a light coat of white over the whole thing. It's probably, well, it's just one coat, but I mean, it's really, it didn't hardly add any weight, like a 1/4 ounce. And I keep weighing my airplane as I'm working on it, because we're going to come to a point where I'm going to say, well, it's either under 40 ounces or add another coat of paint or clear or whatever. And I don't want to be there. So when I hit a certain spot, I stop painting. And if I didn't achieve the look I wanted, I should have done more in the sanding in the beginning. You just can't keep painting. I can't express this enough. When I say that you get 1 quart of clear for your substrate and top coat, that's all you get. You get 1 pint thinned into a quart for your substrate, and the other half is thinned out 50-50 for your top coat. When that's gone, it's gone. I still have my quart of top coat, but that's going to weigh. You're looking at an ounce in that rigmarole there, just in the top coat. So what I've done here is I've done the blocker, and today what I'm going to work on, I just finished it up. So the paint is not super dry, but like I said before, this new formula seems to dry extremely fast and become sandable. Now, my friend John said that I have some places that are known as burn through. Well, I didn't have any of those burn through areas. Like I told him, I just, because I took care of them in primer. Put it on, sand it off, put it on, sand it off, and he figured that I would have some hairs or some nubs. There is none of that. There's some dirt in it, but we're not worried about that because I'm going to be painting over this anyway. But it's a little rough here, so it's going to take the 320. I wish I had some 400, but I don't. And my intention For any of you guys who have seen my Monado, this airplane will have a better finish than the Monado. I can guarantee it, because I'm going to spend more time at this particular state of the game than I did on the Monado. So today is go around and feeling all the edges. Make sure I do have a little spot here. Make sure that you got all the edges and you can't feel anything. Because remember what I told you, if you can feel it, you're going to be able to see it. Let me, I'm going to shoot a little clear or a little white on this because it looks like I kind of missed. I got it. I don't know if you can see that or not. You can still see the primer there. I want to shoot a little white on this. HVLP guns are just great. Anyway, got that. There's a little slit right there. I'm probably going to fix that. You put a little simple green in there or whatever the heck you call it. Another slit right there. Probably going to fix those two. With the Reformer, I've said this a dozen times, but I'll say it again. This is the primer. It's Crest Industries. BA-BG. Super expensive, $15 a can. But it works just the same as DC 540, except it's a little heavier. But it's good stuff. One of the Middlesex modelers turned me on to that. And you have to search the company on the web. Crest Industries. So this airplane has $30 worth of primer on it because it took 2 cans. This will be about probably $150 in material, maybe more, $200 in material. Oh, I'm sorry, Stunt Kid. I didn't know that you didn't tune in much. But if you look back at some of the other videos, I talk about it. If you go on Stunt Hanger, we talked about it. Anyway, that's the primer. And let me take Tommy Looper out of here. Got my little pilot there. I gotta love him. That's a hand carved wood pilot, weighs 2 grams. So we need our phone thing here. This is how I do things. I mean, results may vary. This here is a tank foam isolator from Harley-Davidson CVO Electroglide. So anyway, that's what I do. I put it upside down, and we're going to go over, got a few spots here on the bottom. If you can feel it, it needs to be sanded. And don't worry about burning through. Well, I'm glad you got the original stuff from 3 years ago. That was good stuff. Took me 20 years to find it, and then just like everything, they discontinued it. Anything that works, they got to get rid of. If it ain't biodegradable, non-toxic, all that stuff doesn't work. Anyway, so now for a super nice finish, we have the blocker on here, and the blocker reveals all the blemishes and imperfections in the woodwork or sanding or whatever you did. There's not many on this because I spent so much time in the last 3 days sanding. But a lot of guys use silver. Work in high-end paint and have access to multiple vendors. Well, that Crest Industries works really good. Like I say, it's a little heavier, but you just have to be more careful, use less, better sanding. Well, Stunt Kid, if you work in high-end paint, there's nothing new to what I'm telling you. The shine in the finish is right here in the sandpaper. It's not in the paint. Everybody keeps laying on the paint. Can you get a shiny paint job by laying on the paint? Well, yeah, if you want to use urethane, you just lay that puppy on there and if you listen to this, you can hear my hand drag over it. Little rocks or marbles. Now I use Windex. Some guys use Prep-Sol. I don't use Prep-Sol. I've been using Windex for, I don't know, 20 years, 25 years. It seems to work good. The ammonia, I use Windex to put the covering on with. Just went out and bought another bottle today. See, when you're painting a car, you don't care how much a car weighs. You can really lay the paint on. But with these, if you have a low spot, if you have a nick in the paint, this is what I use here. This is some good stuff here. This is a 3M line. It's 316U. And this stuff loads and unloads. Really, it's made for body files. Works great. I love this stuff. Anyway, where was I? Oh, talking about, let's say we have a nick in the paint. You saw me use this 3M Acro Green. 3M Acro Green spot putty. Use as little of this as you can. This stuff, this tube weighs a pound, right? And it's not even full. It weighs a pound. It's super heavy. And yep, Holly, we're going to be painting that. We're going to tape off the radiators. I'm going around and detail sanding this. I'm going to tape off the radiators and shoot the red, and then take the matching tape off and then shoot the gold for the radiators. But the reason behind, once again, the blocker was so that the red, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but the red comes out really red. It's a Miss Ashley red. They don't make this no more either. I think Bob Brookins and Wendy had something to do with trying to match Ferrari paint, and they came up with that. Pretty close. And considering the MC-72, which is Machicastoli, was an Italian airplane, we're going to paint it Italian colors. And I've got that Bob Brookins super green that pearl green he mixed. I'm going to use on the rudder for the green stripe. That was $50 a quart. If you listen, you can hear the roughness as I'm sanding, and then it'll stop. That noise will go away. Well, that's when you stop sanding. Stay off the cap strips. I mean, you can go down the cap strip, but you don't want to grind on the cap strip. You go right through the covering. We have a painter at work. He's a sander, but he's also the typical painter. He'll lay that paint on there. And this is not like Kosmowski's paint job where they can lay 70 coats of color clear and primers and sealers and all kind of crap on it, unless you want your airplane to be 1,000 pounds. So I'm giving kind of the instruction on how to get a light finish. This finish will be 6 ounces. And when you get to your target weight, stop painting. I can't stress that enough. It's more important to be light than it is to be shiny. At least that's. I mean, I've had some really nice shiny airplanes. If you look at my Thunderbolts and Continentals and things, but since I've kind of revamped my finishing regimen, these airplanes still come out 17 to 19 points. I'm never going to hit 20 points because there's just no such thing as a perfect airplane. So why try? You can make that up in flying instead of appearance points. But it is nice to set the model down on the circle and have the guys go, ooh, ah. Let's see what we got here. All right, we got 10 people watching. I only got 1 like. Hit that like button. Helps the channel grow. 2 likes. That's good. Let's have another one. 3. Hit her again. You got 11 people watching and only 3 likes. Cram that like button to help me grow. Anyway. I don't know if you can see this or not. Probably not. Let me turn this up a little bit. And I go back to this other screen. 5 likes. There we go. 6. There we go. If you look over there in the corner, I have the old man assistance. It has a magnifying glass in it so I can get down right on top of things. But I keep this light here. I have a really good light. Matter of fact, I have 1 light turned off. Let me turn one more on so we can see what we're doing. Voila, daylight. There we go. You liked it. Oh, okay, great, Holly. 7 likes, 11 watchers. Anyway, this little foam block, that's kind of important if you get one of them too, because if you followed my rendition yesterday that I did with the hills and valleys, any of you guys ever go to a chroming shop, you'll see that that bumper or that chrome piece before that goes into the tank looks chrome. And that's what you're trying to do here. You're trying to achieve that. The chrome on a bumper is 50 millionths thick. So we're trying to get a finish on this airplane that's super thin. Otherwise, it's going to be too heavy. So if you followed that thing that I did yesterday about the hills and valleys, the tooth, that's what we're doing here. We're knocking off all the high spots. And when we're done, we're going to try to have a level surface. Now, thank you, Gerald Wummer, for our New Zealand friend, super chat. Appreciate it. Now, another thing. This is a blocker, but I even do this on top coats or whatever. If you happen to sand through where I can see the primer here or whatever, don't worry about it, because when you look at my airplanes as they're flying, you can see through the wings. You're not going to worry about that, because when it's sitting on the ground, there's a dark surface behind it, and it looks very opaque. If you paint your airplane so that it looks opaque when you hold it up to the light, it's too heavy. Too heavy. See, you can see. Can you see through the wing there? Well, you're going to be able to do that when it's red too. You're going to be able to see right through it. Now, there's paint on it, but it's so minute that you can see through it. You can see through all this here, and that's just what I did with the primer. You could see through the primer before I painted it. And I'll sand this. We'll get all the buggers out of it, so to speak. And when I shoot the red on this, I'll shoot it probably 60-40. It'll lay down like glass. Any questions? It's hard to talk for an hour, half an hour. Unless, of course, you're Rusty. He can talk. And I've sanded it kind of right through there. I'm going to need to, probably going to need to hit that with some white, though. So this is all the details that I'm going over. Just seeing if I missed any spots. It is not like Rust-Oleum. Do not use Rust-Oleum. Rust-Oleum is an enamel. Only use lacquer products. This is Crest. Lacquer products have lacquer thinner, propane, xylene, toluene, all the enes that'll eat you up. And if it don't have it, it ain't no good. Dope will make it crinkle. It's incompatible. Now, you being in another country, Holly, I don't know whether what the rules are in Holland, but here I about had a heart attack. I called Wix. I'm going to make a trip over to Wix tomorrow to pick up a a load of paint, a couple gallons of thinner, some crystal clear, which is actually non-tautening dope, and a gallon of Insignia White. Well, Insignia White's been $80 for as long as I can remember. She said, that'll be $165. I said, what? I go, no way. I mean, she said, well, she must have been new. She said, let me let you talk to the technician. So I got the guy on the phone. I gave him the number, which is Q-510, I think, or I don't know, whatever it is. And I said, how much is it? He said, it's $80. I said, well, why did she tell me 160 something? She had bid me for a high solid Insignia White. I don't know how much more high solid you can get than Insignia White, because this is one coat and it's covered. So I guess they're painting over black with it. I don't know, but I don't need that. So I got that sorted out, but I did order a gallon of crystal clear, which is a non-tautening butyrate top coat. I said, I guess they put the yellow in the clear, so that it for UV protection. The guy said, nope. I said, well, why do they do it? He said, so you can see where you painted. I said, if you paint your airplane white and put the clear over the top of it, when you come back that summer, it's going to be yellow. He said, exactly. I said, well, shit. Only if I use a two-part primer, I'll use Waterborne Automotive Colors. Finish in a 2-pack urethane clear. Be very careful with any of the waterborne colors. Think about what water does to wood. I don't want water anywhere near this till after it's finished. And even then, I know of guys who take their airplanes and hose them off. I think that's crazy. Oh, got a little spot here. And I guess I'm missing the back sides of these. Let me spray this real quick. Well, that's going to have to hold off because I'll have to run the compressor. So, and the compressor's so loud you couldn't hear anything. I'm real happy with this so far, though. It's been several months in the making, 1 hour a day until this last final push where I've been in the last week. I probably put 40 hours into this airplane. So that would have been another 40 days. But as I said, I got to make hay when the sun's shining. It's hard for me to take my airplane over to my friend's house and paint over there because I don't know, it's not set up like here. I'm very appreciative to have the space to work in. But there ain't nothing like home. Of course, we get better movies over, John. At least there's somebody to bounce off of. So the thing is, gold radiator here, gold radiator here. The whole thing will be Miss Ashley red. I still have to put the cockpit on it. Online. Next you come doing work on your plane. You got ice cream? Thank you. You just got brought some ice cream. All right, Steve Hines says it's nice to be home doing your own work on your plane. Yes, it's really nice, Steve. Well, I gotta dig into my ice cream. I hope you guys don't mind that, but if I can get it open. Well, how do you get it open? Yeah, there we go. All right. But it's really warm here today. It's about 60-some degrees, I'd say. Good flying weather. There will not be a Centipua decal on this. I did see one MC-72 with the Centipua rondelle on it. But not this one. Any questions? Got to eat my ice cream before it melts. Well, I'm sure this will get me some thumbs down. I'd like to find that one knucklehead that keeps giving me a thumbs down. Always one guy. I need to show me something you guys did. I'll take a break. That's good stuff. Put it in the fridge here. And we'll eat it after the live stream. Anyway. Back where were we? Let's see if I got some finer sandpaper. I thought I did. It's in the sanding. Ooh, second place. Got 1,500 head of piece. Now this will probably load pretty quick. Is that primer crest as well? Yes. No, the white is dope. I just doped this today. 100 here I'm going over with. Let's see if we can't make this butt smooth. The bad thing using this fine paper is this primer is not, it's green, so it loads the paper really quick. I guess I could try it with this Windex here and see what it does. That helps. And we'll go ahead and wet sand it with Windex. Windex is 1500. That way when the season's greetings, Daryl. Polishing stage. That's going to be a couple hundred hours yet from polishing. Yeah, about 100, I'd say. I don't know that I mentioned this on the live stream before. These Scott blue towels, not the Scott Mechanics towels. These are Scott shop towel original. These here, these are the best for paint. They do not scratch. They won't even scratch your glasses. You can use them on your glasses. You can tell that the paint is not very thick. If you look here, in a few swipes, I've already sanded through it. Of course, I'll go back and I will touch that up, but I wanted to get any of the high spots off of it. Because this headrest, in order, like I told you, the focal point is the headrest molding into the rudder, molding into the stabilizer. So you got to make that look good. Kind of like the valve covers on my Supermarine. That was a focal point of the airplane, the valve covers. Hit that like button. 9. Got 2 more I need. If the paint ain't coming out, laying down flat, more thinner. Remember, you got 1 quart of dope to use and 1/2 pint of color total. So if it ain't gonna make it, you're allowed to add thinner, but you're not allowed to add more paint. So your preparation or your setup has to be better. This is the Zen. How the heck can a guy sit and rub on that thing forever? Well, on a good one. Might have to go get some more 1500. You're more than welcome, Gerald, with the knowledge sharing. I don't know anything. I just do what I do. A lot of guys on that forum will pi r square you to death. And by the time they got it pi r squared, I'm flying it. Some guys have fun, like Charles, building artwork. Some guys have fun doing CAD work and they have fun doing drawing plans. There's nothing wrong with it. Some guys have fun with the math. Ain't nothing wrong with that, except I don't understand it. Then you got guys like me that just do it, build them. But after building several hundred, you kind of know what works and what don't. If you're at the Nats next year, make sure to vote for me for Spirit of '62 in the Classic event. I don't know if that'll help because the judge usually just selects it. Wow, we got some. Now listen to this. No good. So it wouldn't matter how much I polished it, it would never shine. So I'll take the sandpaper and knock it off. I'm gonna have to put some more paint on that. Now listen. Much more better. And you think, well, you know, I gotta paint white there. No, I don't. It's gonna be red. Let me explain to you this way. The thing that I'm doing here is the illusion. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's the illusion of an MC72. That's why they call it semi-scale. And as long as you're, that's nice. Oh, we got a, what's this? There's a spot I missed. Now, if you look here, let's see if we can get that to come in. If you look here, there's some grooves or whatever. Well, you know, most guys would say, ah, it's good enough. Well, I guess it's good enough because that's what you like, but I'm going to sand this out. I'm going to have to shoot some white on it or whatever. I'm going to hit it with some primer. That's pretty deep scratch. That's the underside, but it don't matter. Wow. So we hit it with primer, that scratch, and we're going to let that dry off, and then I'll block sand all the primer off, and all that should be left is the dark line where the low was. And if it don't do it on the first coat, it'll do it second coat, or you know, it might take a couple sand outs, but you want to get them sanded out of there. In this particular stage of the game, it's about how good do you want it. You know, what's good enough. Most guys would go, hey, let's just paint it and fly it. Well, you can do that if that's what you want. But I have stuff to fly, so gotta be perfect. You just kind of go over it and rub it, feel it, see what you think. If you find a spot that needs to be looked after, turn it over and look after it. If you listen to the sandpaper, it can tell you when it's happy. It stops singing to you. It'll become just like rubbing a piece of notebook paper on it. And if you have a scratch that's going this way or whatever, try to sand against it. If you sand with it, you'll just dig a hole. I'm not talking about little scratches. There ain't much paint on there, that's for sure. Use this. See, I don't know. I got 15 guys watching, but I don't know what you want to see. I mean, it's hard for me to guess what needs to be seen. Or if you're just interested in just watching me to see how I do it. To be honest with you, I am no faster than anybody else. The only difference is I stand right here till it's done. Okay, those lines are going to take another sand out. They're pretty minute, but we got a guy that judges by the name of Jim Lynch, and he'll go, "What are you going to do about that?" And I know. Tell you a story about Jim Lynch. My F-6B Supermarine at the Nast in 2016. I think he gave me 17 points for it, and I didn't feel that it was. I thought it was too low. I thought it should have been 18 or 19. And maybe it was not one. It was 2008. I don't know. I have to check my entries. Anyway, I said, "Hey," I went to his motel room after appearance judging. I said, "Hey, why did you only give me 16 or 17 or whatever it was?" He said, "Well, because the bottom didn't look as good as the top." I said, "Yeah, but I'm trying to save on weight." He said, "Doesn't matter." And from that day forward, you will not see the bottom of any of my airplanes not finished as good as the top. So if you got a spot in it, even if it's on the bottom, my suggestion is get it off. especially if you're going to fly at the Nationals, where Jim Lynch is going to be looking at it. Because he will tell you, what are you going to do about that? Nothing. That got it. So one more sand out. So it didn't take an inordinate amount of time to fix that little thing there, and it wouldn't bother most of you. But because I know how Jim Lynch operates, or these judges operate, I want to get those things out of there. That way they don't go, hey, look at that. Leave them no room. If you make a mistake on an ink line, you got one line going this way and one line going this way, and they cross, it's sticking up a little bit or whatever, they'll take you down for that. That's a mistake. So you got to make sure it has a perfect 90-degree corner where it doesn't go too far or not far enough. And trust me, they go, hey, look at that. Shit. Of course, when I'm judging appearance, I do the same thing. I guess it's the only fair way you can do it. There's no such thing as a 20-point airplane, because we're imperfect beings, and it's 20 points is perfect. And I haven't seen one yet. Now I know they've given them out at the Nats when I've been there, 20 points. Highest I got was 19, and that's what the highest most people get. There's only usually one 20-pointer. I've only seen a couple of Nats if there's 20 pointers, but they ain't perfect. They just didn't look in the right spots. Because I can guarantee you, I can find a spot. And if I can find a spot, it ain't perfect. Never do what I just did, stick the ball driver in your ear. Okay, I'll show this flap repair now. And I'll go over this whole thing to make sure there's none of those spots. And that is on the bottom. Okay, if you look here now, where that spot was, it's gone. Too much, too much. But all depends on what you want. Yeah, we got little nibs there. Gotta get them out. Pay close attention to the fillet areas, because when I walk up on your airplane, I'm looking, are the cap strips flush with the covering, with the sheeting? Are there joints? Are they sticking up? Are they sanded flat? Are they uniform? This wing should look like it's one continuous piece, like it was a foam wing, even though it's open bay. Hard to do, but not impossible. It just takes you just got to pay attention. Jack Snavely, thank you very much. Merry Christmas. Appreciate it. I'm hoping you guys are learning something. I had some spots where the sheeting joined back here, the top sheeting and the trailing edge. And I sanded and filled those until they're perfectly flat. And that took some time. I'm really going to like this molded leading edge, this foam molded leading edge. I can tell already because there's no rib stations in it. So I'll do that again. We got to do that again. When I repair all these spots, I'll stop the video, run the compressor, and touch these spots up with the white. And then we'll get ready to tape the stuff off. Let's see here. Thumbs up, Merry Christmas, Sparky, and all others in the hangar. Thank you very much. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, everybody. Been on for an hour. Hope you learned something. This is a dying art. Everybody wants it now. If you're going to do this, you ain't going to get it now. I'll take a drink. You want it right or you want it now, you're just not going to get it right now. It's going to take some time. Perfect just takes a little longer. And as Randy Powell says, and he does say it the best, the paint job is never finished. Never are you finished. You just abandon it because it doesn't matter what you do. There's always a spot. It's kind of like polishing. When I polish an airplane, it takes 6 months. You know, you get it nice. You shine it out, you get it shiny and it's nice. But in order to get it really shiny, it takes all season long to get it really shiny. I just was holding up to the light there, and I see you can see right through the wings. Make sure that your airplanes are like that, even if it's green or yellow or whatever, red. Even though this is white, it'll be see-through red when I shoot that red on there, and that's the only way you're going to have a light airplane. And when you set it down on the ground or in that configuration, you can't see through it anymore because the light is not beaming through it. When you go over the top, if you watch airplanes fly and you watch the experts fly, when they come up and go into a wing over, watch the airplane. And if you can see through the wing, that's a light airplane. If you can't, that's a turd. They got too much paint on it. And as far as I'm concerned, doesn't matter what anybody says, weight is very important. That's where it's at. Let's see what happened here. Okay. All right. We got about an hour in now. Anybody, you guys want me to keep streaming, or you had enough of me blabbing for an hour? I'm gonna have to shut it off and paint the touch-ups. We could come back in a hangout later this evening, not on YouTube, but over on Jitsi. You guys can talk to me while I'm taping it off. Unfortunately, this thing won't have any of them fancy scallops or any of that stuff that I like to do. We're going to try to make it look like a real airplane. Still have to, I got my canopy, my windscreen, what have you. Well, I had it. Hope I didn't throw it out. Oh no. Might have thrown my windscreen out. No. Okay, good. You guys remember we did the pulls on the windscreens. I'm hoping that I didn't bend it. I can't mount this until the airplane's red. So it's going to have to be painted twice in this area. Yeah, that's good. All right. There's the windscreen. It goes on like so. Got to be red underneath it, so I'm going to have to cut that in, epoxy it, mold it in, and then what the heck happened to the tape? Yep. Cut that in, epoxy it, mold it, then repaint the area so that it looks like it was part of the airplane. That'll be probably half the day tomorrow if I can get this, at least get this area red. I'm going to try to do that before I go to bed, is at least get this area red right here so that I can add the canopy or the windscreen or whatever tomorrow. So the thing is to place it, which is it's approximately in the place it needs to be. I might show how I do that once more, but we got Tommy sitting in there. Let's get a close up of that. So you want to place this. I take a ballpoint pen. I'm going to trace around it. Cut a groove, a slot, excavate it. So we got to get this centered. And unfortunately, this is a one-shot deal, so you got to get it right the first time. Why does that thing not want to go straight? I might have that sanded wrong. I'll have to look at that pretty close. That's why it's not sanded straight. Give me a second, guys. I want to go over to the disc sander. Yeah, I disc sanded it straighter. See if it's straight enough. far, so good. This was designed by a guy named Bob Tucker. Used to live here in St. Louis. Still not straight. What in the heck is going on? That'll take some conscious thought to get that on there and make it perfect. But anyway, that's what we'll do. We'll draw a line in ballpoint pen. I'll excavate a groove in there, stipple the edges, epoxy it down in there, and hopefully it'll look okay. Looks like it needs to be a little taller. But this is the pattern right off the plan. I guess I could put it up like so, or maybe move it forward. I got the plans there. I'll look at it and see exactly where the canopy goes. Maybe farther forward. There we are. Yeah. That should be a real bear to get on there. Oh, I see why it's goofy. It's not flat. Hang on a second. Might have to make another one. That's pretty flat. Anyway, you basically get the idea how it works. I am using, in this particular airplane, I'm using an OS-32F, which is a helicopter motor, the ABC model. They don't make it anymore. It's a good little engine with big power output. They work good on a pipe too. If you want to run that on a pipe, you buy this. You buy this header here for a 32F, and that makes it side to rear exhaust. And how I made the center line of the exhaust go down the fuselage is I used a radial mount engine mount and turn the engine down so that the exhaust ran straight down the center line of the fuselage. You could do it with this, but why am I, I'm trying to build a classic airplane, not a piped airplane. But if you look on Stunhanger on in the gallery, the photo gallery at the top, look for District 6. There's a picture of me holding my saucer up, showing you the engine setup and the pipe setup, and that's that engine. They work real good. But that's been 20 years ago. I'm gonna have to check my fingernails, make sure I don't have any leave any fingernail marks. Oh. So been on an hour and 10 minutes. I am going to, yep, Bob Tucker. Let's see here. They call him Robert Tucker, and his I-beam stunners. Well, Bob Tucker didn't really build I-beams. He built D-tubes, but the St. Louis, the Detroiters, Bob McDonald's dad, Roland, they built the I-beamers. But Bob may have built the I-beam. I just don't know about it. I talked to him about 15 years ago. I don't know what's happened to him, if he's still alive or whatever. I called Jim Van Loo. He doesn't live far from here. Too old to fly. But he lives at, what's that guy's name? I used to fly with a guy out in Pacific. What the hell was his name? He died. Everybody's dying. I mean, I was talking to my dad yesterday, World War II vet. He's concerned, you know, he knows time is short. There's only 2 World War II vets in town. They wanted to volunteer him for a parade. He said, don't volunteer me for anything. He knows it's short. And it's sad. The greatest generation is soon to leave us. I'm going to say something and then I'm going to shut the stream off for now. I'll be back. But I want to leave you with this thought. My parents, my father, his generation, the greatest generation, the World War II guys, if they were my age, would not put up with what's going on in this country. I can tell you that right now. That's about all I got to say on that. You can take it any way you want. So I'll be back later on. Thanks for watching. Been on an hour and 15 minutes. Thank you for the super chats. We'll see you later on. I'll have this spotted in and we'll start taping up the wings. Probably, I don't know, 7, 8 o'clock tonight should be ready to go. So till I see you then, fair winds, tight lines. See ya.